Hello everyone, hi, I'm Dipanshu Singh. So today I'm going to talk about one of the major concerning areas for a lot of aspirants, that is current affairs. So are you actually also facing difficulty in current affairs? So don't worry, we are here to help you out with this series of videos on important current issues of 2019, which we'll be covering in the set of videos. And also at the end, I'll be talking about this special course that we are launched covering current affairs from important topics that have been in news from 2017 to 2018 April. That will be helpful not only for UPSC exams but also for state PSC exams, and will be helpful for your bank PO examinations, and for that matter even for people who are writing their SSC exams, right? So this series of videos that we'll be doing also will be available for free on the platform for everybody to get benefited from. So today we're going to talk about some of the important current issues, whether it's polity, whether it's economy, whether it's science and technologies. These are some of the major areas where the questions have increased every in the examination, right? So first we're going to see a topic from Indian polity, and this one has been in news, and this is regarding even the elections that we are having now. And the elections have been declared, and the elections are going to be conducted for your Lok Sabha. So this is regarding model code of conduct, and this is specifically news because the Election Commission of India had organized a press conference explaining the reason on the enforcement of the model code of conduct. So earlier it was thought of that the model code of conduct only comes into the picture when, or basically is enforced when basically the elections are announced. But what happened in Telangana was, as you know, that the assembly was dissolved on the recommendation, and it was prematurely dissolved, in fact, for some electoral benefits. But not going into that aspect of the political angle, the issue over here is related to constitutional angle. So even after dissolving the assembly, what the government was trying to do, they wanted to distribute these saris for the Bathukuma festival, which is a very important festival in Telangana. So they wanted to distribute these sari for the Bathukuma festival, which actually is not allowed because you are a caretaker government once the model code of conduct has been enforced. But the Telangana government was saying that since the election dates have not been announced, we cannot say that MCC is in force. So the Election Commission of India came out with a press conference explaining that you don't need an explicit announcement of elections. Once the assembly is dissolved, the government does not have that much amount of power that it used to have earlier. Now it is just a caretaker government. So when you are a caretaker government, you cannot take policy decisions which ultimately help a government, or you can help a political party in gaining electoral or having electoral gains. So that was the issue with respect to this. So that is why this Telangana issue and the model code of conduct came into the picture. Now, what exactly is this model code of conduct? So model code of conduct is basically a set of guidelines that are issued by the Election Commission to regulate elections in political parties and the candidates prior to election. So this is specifically important because there is no specific law which governs the electoral practices. So model code of conduct is basically like like an understanding. It's like an MOU which is there between the parties and the Election Commission, because there is no statutory backing for model code of conduct. But there can be certain cases where certain provisions of the model code of conduct may be enforced through invoking certain provisions of, like, say, IPC or criminal procedure code. So this model code of conduct actually came to light and was introduced keeping in the mind Article 324 of the Constitution, which gives the Election Commission the power to supervise elections of the Parliament and state legislature. So there are certain activities which are prohibited under the MCC. So neither the caretaker government or the caretaker state government, or the central government for that matter, shall announce any new schemes or projects because it can lead to certain political gains, use any of the official resources for any non-official purposes, and combining official visits with electioneering work. So the point to remember, and this will be doing in every set of topic, the point that you have to remember over here is, and that I'm going to specifically mention after each and every topic, which will be important for prelims or can be also relevant for mains, or for that matter for any other examination, that certain provisions of the MCC may be enforced through your other laws like Indian Penal Code, because there might be something which might be a crime under the Indian Penal Code or Code of Criminal Procedure, and that is related to something which is prohibited under the Model Code of Conduct. So Model Code of Conduct might mention certain activities which are not illegal as per the Model Code of Conduct, because does not have a law or any statutory backing, but that might be illegal as per the Indian Penal Code or Criminal Procedure Code and Representation of People Act 1951. So this is this issue of Telangana and the Model Code of Conduct. The other issue is, now we're going to discuss again, is related to some political aspect, is the suspension of MPs in the Lok Sabha. So recently, Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Sumitra Mahajan, she suspended some of the MPs for creating ruckus in the Lok Sabha. So the rule that was invoked was Rule 374A of the Lok Sabha, which says that they cannot attend the meetings or the sessions for the remaining set of days. Now there are actually two set of rules. So दो rule है वहाँ पे. First is rule number 373, the other is rule number 374A. So in this case, rule number 374A was invoked. Now this is generally invoked in a situation where it has resulted in a grave disorder occasioned by a member coming into the well of the house or abusing the rules of the house, or persistently or willfully obstructing the business by shouting slogans or otherwise. तो काफी ज्यादा अगर बदतमीजी हो जाए, काफी ज्यादा ऐसा disorderly conduct हो जाए, तब 374A invoke किया जाता है by the Speaker of the House. The other rule is 373, and in this generally it is the conduct which is a grossly disorderly, but the level of penalty in 374A is high as compared to 373. If 373 rule is invoked, if this one is invoked, so the member is required to forfeit and stay away from the remainder of the day sitting. So you are actually suspended for just that one day, right? And you are not allowed to attend the session of the House for that entire day. But if the second is invoked, that is the 374A is invoked, in that case, you are expected to stay away from the House till the remaining of the session, or basically for 5 consecutive sittings, which is less. So minimum 5 दिन के लिए तो आप suspend हो गए होगे. So your salary will be deducted and all those aspects will be taken care of. So minimum 5 days will be suspended if Rules 374A is invoked. But the important point that you have to remember from exams point of view is that the authority for revocation of this suspension does not lie with the Speaker, even though they have the power to suspend, but they do not have the power to revoke the suspension. It is basically the power of the House, that is the Lok Sabha. And if the Lok Sabha so desires to resolve a motion to revoke the suspension, they can do it. Now, coming and comparing that power with the Raj Sabha, the Speaker, unlike the Speaker, Raj Sabha's chairman does not have that kind of power to suspend a member. It is done by the House. The suspension is also done by the House. The revocation is also done by the House. That is a motion which is adopted in the Raj Sabha, right? So unlike the Speaker, Raj Sabha's chairman does not have the power for this. So that is, you can say, again, an extra power that the Speaker has. So when you compare constitutional angles, when you compare the powers of these presiding officers, the power that the Speaker has in the Lok Sabha is much more than what the chairman of the Raj Sabha has. So the next topic that we're going to see now is related to science and technology. Now, science and technology is also one area where there's a lot of questioning coming in. And it becomes a little tricky for aspirants because most of the thing is related to current affairs. They are not asking too much of static portion in this, whether it's state PSC exam or even for that matter UPSC exam. So the first topic that we're going to talk about today in this is the Gold and Icon mission. Now, generally it has not been much covered in the news, but it is extremely important, this mission is, because they are going to study the ionosphere. The ionosphere, that is the layer which has the charged particles, which helps in radio waves communication coming from the Earth and coming back to Earth. So radio communication is possible just because of this layer. So the full form of this mission, and by the way, this mission is launched by NASA. So the full form of this mission is the global scale observation of the limb and disk. So limb and disk is basically the ionosphere, and the ionospheric connection explorer, or the ICON. Now these two missions will basically be complementary to each other. So these are basically explorers. So they are like, they're like they are like satellites observing the Earth from a certain distance. So the ICON mission will be launched in the low Earth orbit, which is located at about like 560 kilometers of the Earth, above Earth. So if this is Earth, you have the ICON at this point, and then you have the Gold at this point. So Gold will be at the geostationary orbit, which is approximately 35,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface, and the LEO, the ICON will be at the LEO orbit, which is approximately 560 kilometers. So this will give much better clarity, much clear picture of the Earth's surface, and the geostationary orbit one will have a different purpose. So these two have different purposes, but their purposes align when they come together in a single line. So when they come together in a single line, this explorer, the ICON one, it will take a certain image, at a certain point of time, like a snapshot of time, then the gold mission will also take the same image at a particular time, because they will come at a certain time, come together, and then those images will be compared. Now, why we are doing this, or why this mission is being launched? Because we need to understand why the radio waves get disrupted, why the communication get disrupted by the effect of the solar flares or the charged particles coming out from the sun. And also the icon will be studying how does that affect the inner atmosphere of the earth. So the two missions can cooperate with each other when icon passes through goal's field of view, and each mission gets a snapshot of the same region. This overlapping in their data will make it easier to identify reasons for changes in the upper atmosphere at a given time. So one of the mission's goal is to measure how upper atmospheric changes is there in response to hurricanes and geomagnetic storms that are happening in the exosphere, or basically the outer sphere, or the space. And gold will also explain how the upper atmosphere reacts to geomagnetic storms, these solar charged particles coming and disrupting satellites and communications. So these are temporary disturbances of the Earth's magnetic field, and they are caused by the solar activity. At night, what will happen is gold will examine the disruptions in ionosphere. Now, why this is important? Because ionosphere, actually, if you go from the Earth's surface to top, you will get three layers. So if you are traveling from Earth's atmosphere to upper side, you will get three layers called as D, E, and F layer, and these are a part of ionospheric layers. So what happens, and this is not really clearly known, that the D layer in night gets disappeared, right? फिर से बता रहा हूँ, D layer in the night gets disappeared and the E layer gets weakened. So रात में सिर्फ एक layer रह जाती है, that is called as the F layer. Now that F layer is only responsible for communication of radio waves and satellite communication of these that we are transmitting from the Earth and receiving it back in the night. So if the F layer would not have been there, we would not have been able to communicate in the night time. So gold will also study how this D and E layer get disrupted and they interfere with the radio communication. So both of the missions are extremely important missions with an extremely important task. So Icon will be in the low Earth orbit that we have discussed. This is the Gold Explorer that will be in the geostationary orbit. Both will have a complementary mission, that is mapping the Earth's surface at a certain point of time and trying to understand the effect of geomagnetic storms on the Earth's surface, and also the atmosphere and the climatic variations, and how these solar storm or solar charged particles actually affect the surface of the Earth. Right, so this is a sort of diagram which will be helpful for you guys in understanding this. Whatever we have discussed, this will help in summarizing that. So like this, we will keep on discussing important articles in the series of videos that will be extremely helpful for you guys. So again, as I told you, if you are also facing difficulty in current affairs, please do not worry. We are here to help you out for this. So we are going to launch a course. We in fact launched a course that will be extremely helpful for you guys in your preparation. So this course, or basically, will be useful for all the aspirants who are preparing for UPSC exam or state PSC exams. So in this, we'll be covering comprehensively current affairs for 2016 and 19. So this is a comprehensive course, and which will be dealing with issues from 2016 in fact to 2019. So if you see the features, what all features are there in this course. So it will have live classes. You can actually see me live like this. We will be having a lecture like this, like completely like this, how we are seeing this video. So there will be more than 45 plus live lectures of more than 1 hour duration of every class, and then the PDF notes will be provided after every lecture, and the recordings also will be available for you guys after the lecture, after every class, and there will be complete coverage of all the topics, specifically from in-depth from 2018 to 2019 April, 2018 January to 2019 April. And apart from that, current affairs from 2016 to 2018 also, which have been in news and are very, very important for examination points of view. So classes will also include these topics, and generally we will be having around 2 to 3 lectures every week. We will increase that depending on the situation and the timeline. So I want to finish off this course for you guys so that you can get enough amount of time for practice and revision. So by the end of, let's say, first week of May, I want to end this course so that it is extremely helpful for you guys, so that you can get ample amount of time, almost a month to revise for whatever we have discussed in the classes, right? So the classes timing will be generally after 8 p.m. The detailed schedule will be available on the website, and also will be available in the description box of this video. And the validity of the course is 1 year. So we will be discussing like this in depth, both for prelims and mains oriented topics. So you can go to the site actually and check the details also. And by the way, for some learners, if you are fairly new to me and my way of teaching, these are some of the testimonials that I have received from my students from my previous courses on geography and other subjects. that I've taken up. So, and most of the questions that they have encountered in the examinations have come from my, the topics that I've discussed. So, I'm extremely glad that I was in a way able to help aspirants in some way in helping them in the examination preparation. Similarly, these are some of the other testimonials I've received from some of my students in Northeast, and some of them from Maharashtra, and some of them are already enrolled in big coachings. So in that way, you can get an idea about the type of coverage that we're going to have in this course. So the seats are limited because we are not going to take too much of students in this batch, because we have to have one-to-one interaction, because there will be one-to-one interaction. There will be separate doubt clearing sessions. And the interesting aspect is that while live video, you can actually also have an audio chat based on request. So I will give a chance to each and every learner to have an option of an audio chat, so you can actually ask your doubts live via audio. So that is also an interesting thing that you're going to have an experience in these live classes. So apart from this, we will be launching more set series of videos covering topics like these for the examination purposes. अच्छा, एक और चीज़ important बताना चाहता हूँ कि this course will be in both English and Hindi. तो अगर आप हिंदी मीडियम एस्पिरेंट हैं, आपको समझने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी, ठीक है? So it will be a course in both English and Hindi. You don't have to worry. South Indian friends don't have to worry. Even people from the remote area who have difficulty in English, they don't have to worry. So just go to the site Learn for Exam. You'll find the page on UPSC. You'll find the course details, and you can go and enroll there. So I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you so much. Best wishes from my side, and I'm hoping you all to see in this course. Thank you. Bye-bye.